All right, all right. Well, it's been about, I don't know, over 40 years since I heard that theme from Devil's Crush. But I think it's called Dragon's Crush in America, but that song is pretty hype. If that does not want to make you play a what is it? A devil demon themed pinball game, I don't know what will. So, shout out to Devil's Crush. But all right, guys. All right, all right, all right. As Matthew McConaughey would say, it is not as hot as it was a couple of weeks ago or a week ago, but it's still kind of hot in here. So I still have the fan going. But class is officially back in session again. Welcome back to the Gaming Academy, where we just don't celebrate to play games. We study, we debate, and sometimes question why we pre-ordered that $300 collector's edition that came with a fake chainsaw controller. Sometimes you just have to have it. I'm the last person you need to be talking about that. But anyways, if it's your first time here, I'm your host, GQAzndood, the headmaster of this wild institution, joined by my co-panelists here, Blazing Ace Nelson. And tonight we're taking a deep dive into some of the most ridiculous, most unnecessary, and most unforgettable pre-order bonuses gaming has ever known. Remember those? Remember when you got free stuff for going to GameStop and pre-ordering a game that's not digital? Well, we remember. Pepperidge Farm remembers. Also, we're throwing down at the round table to ask, is physical media still worth in 2025? Or are we clinging to nostalgia? Or is there any real value in owning the disc anymore? I got thoughts, and I know y'all do too. So then we'll close this out with some real world EXP final boss, talking about why grinding isn't just for leveling up in games. It's just how we level up in life. And not to mention the tech, back for more Final Fight Forever. This time with my favorite guy character. So buckle up, grab your notebooks, and maybe that overpriced replica weapon, because Gaming Academy starts now. All right, not to introduce my buddy here, my partner in crime. Let's get it started. Blazing Ace Nelson, what up, man?
Hey, how's everybody doing this evening?
Oh,
It's been a hell of a week, and oh, I'm glad to be back. We've got a lot to talk about this evening, even with one of us down, unfortunately. But I mean, dad issues got to take precedence, so it's going to be up to us to hold it down.
That's true. That's true. Normally we have tragically Lee here, but he is on daddy duties always, so it's all good. It's all good. I'm just happy that the temperature has dialed down a little bit, because it was pretty smoking hot last week when last time
Oh,
we were doing the show.
good grief, it was miserable.
Yeah, yeah. It's incredibly, I'm not gonna say cold, but like it's incredibly different than last time. So I still have the fan going just in case. But
And,
yes. Go ahead.
but yeah, let's. I mean, we've got the preamble out of the way. What do you say we get down to it?
Let's get to business. So let's go do some wait, guys. I want you to check this out.
Yo, check this out.
All right. So if it's your first time here, check this out is one of our segments on the show where we talk about weird things or just random things you want to show on the internet. I don't know why I have weird game controls. That was last week, but this week we're doing weird pre-orders or strange pre-orders for gaming. Um, I mean, when was the last time you got actually something physical for pre-ordering something, Ace?
You mean other than a steelbook case?
Yeah, that's not that weird, right? It's almost like they should just give that to us at this point.
Well, actually, the last time I got something physical from a pre-order was my pre-order for City of the Wolves.
Okay.
Not only did I get, I mean, it came with the steelbook case, but it also came with the soundtrack for the game, a full-on map of Southtown, and I mean like Old South and Second.
Mhm.
Let's see that, a sticker set, and and a physical art book.
Oh, okay. Now, is that a pre-order, or is that just comes in the like deluxe edition?
That was pre-order.
Oh, really? Okay, that's cool. Sometimes, like, yeah, I remember that was like the stuff you get for pre-ordering before you got the game, right? So now I feel like you just get it when the game comes out. And maybe it's
Yeah,
just me.
no,
Maybe I'm just old. I don't know.
but yeah, other than that, oh god, last time I actually got something physical in a pre-order.
Remember when we used to get demo discs for pre-ordering? I feel like that was a thing.
Yeah, Actually, the last time I got something physical in a pre-order before City of the Wolves was KOF 14.
What was it? What was in that one?
The pre-order box for that one was pretty much the same soundtrack, art book, and a steelbook case.
Okay.
But I mean, hell, for rad fighting games, you can't really go wrong with getting the soundtrack, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
No,
oh man, this is hype.
soundtrack's always
On
good.
your truck.
I love getting the soundtrack. I love getting art books for pre-order stuff, or just in general, just like when you buy like a physical copy of game, which we'll talk about later about physical copies. So that's kind of topical. But one of the things that I want to feature on tonight's Yo Check This Out was the Resident Evil 6 Japan Premium Edition pre-order, which included Leon Kennedy's replica leather jacket. So let's see if I can grab a image of this, because this one is unique. Let's take a look at the replica. Okay, so let me see if this image will work. So it's kind of a weird, like.
Look, you're talking badass jackets. I'm sold.
Oh, I know. It's funny because I just saw Superman, and when I saw Mr. Terrific, I thought of you because he had a really cool like KOF coat.
Oh yeah.
So, I don't know if you saw it yet, but that was like, it's all you.
Haven't seen it yet, but I've seen Mr. Terrific.
Okay, so this is kind of what you get right here, and this is actually approximately, and chat, do the math, 105,000 yen, which I think it says here it equates to about $1,300 US. So this is only available in Japan, and it was, and let's just say, a video game quality, not biker gang certified. So I feel like this jacket would have the same quality as that Fallout bag that we talked about. Remember?
Jesus Christ! All that for a month's rent?
Yeah, right. I mean, it's kind of silly. Like, you would pay that much, but like, I get it. They probably only made 100 in the world or something like that. But yeah, I can see why this didn't make it to the USA. So, that's kind of funny.
I better be able to survive Fallout with that shit.
Right. And the other thing too was the chainsaw controller was apparently also a pre-order, crazy pre-order thing that you can do. But I'm gonna go ahead and what do you call this? Take it up a notch and talk about Dying Light. Has anybody in chat or you have played Dying Light?
Oh, I haven't played Dying Light, but yeah.
Actually, you may know what I'm talking about, because this thing is called the Apocalypse Edition, and this thing's kind of wild. But check this out. It's a pretty rough image, but that's the biggest I can find. But this thing was a crazy pre-order that involved a custom-built zombie-proof shelter for 250,000 pounds.
Okay, so you're basically buying property.
Yeah, or a building, right? So that's kind of wild to think about it. This is a better picture.
Wow.
No, it's the same one. Let me see if I can make it better. Don't worry, guys. I got you.
That is absolutely nuts.
Right? I'm just saying, like, this is
So you get a building.
Yeah,
you get parkour lessons.
Legit, it says provided by Tiger Log Cabins. I'm sure you can Google that, and they're actually a legit business that like makes buildings for you. But this is like what I'm talking about when nerds have too much money. This is the stuff they buy. So it's like, hey guys, did you guys buy the new Dying Light? But do you have the zombie proof shelter DLC? Like, it's just
they sold at least one.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It says here, in order to stir up some much-needed Google juice, publisher Techland today announced this is way back, coming with a price of £250,000, which equates to about $387,000, available through the Brit retail chain Game, and limited to a run of just one. My Apocalypse Collector's Edition comes with a custom-built zombie fortification cabin. Like, honey, I bought this game, but it comes with a zombie-proof
But it
shelter.
comes with a house,
Yeah, it
basically.
comes with a house. Like, oh, that's a trick. That's a trick. So yeah, that's a very interesting one. But I think we can top this, Ace. I know, like you're like in awe, but we can definitely top this. We can build them stronger, faster, and higher. So the number one
In fact, that's not the
crazy
craziest one.
pre-order edition, the reigning champ so far. I don't think anything has beaten this crazy thing. Comes from Saints Row 3, actually. So specifically Saints Row 3.
I'm
And
trying
do you know what I'm talking about when I refer to Saints Row 3 and this thing that I'm about to mention? You're like, what is it? What is it? What are you talking about?
I feel
So
like it's something I probably should remember, but also keep in mind I didn't go for Saints Row 3 when that came out.
oh really? Or you,
Yeah,
you just skip over it?
no, I got into Saints Row a little later in the game, like after 4 was already out, because I was borrowing them from Andrew.
Ah, gotcha. Okay. So I'm gonna tell you what's in this thing. Okay, so let me go ahead and paste what's on the screen. Um, and I have to make sure it's the right one because this thing is very interesting. I don't think that one's it. Let's see, Saints Row 3. They keep giving me Saints Row 4.
It's not something that'll get the podcast age restricted now, is it?
No.
Good.
No, at least I don't think so. Well, the one that's really popular is the Wub Dub gun. You talking about? It was the EDH gun when you shot somebody with the gun, it made them dance in EDH in dubstep. So
Funny enough, in like one of the most recent story updates for Warframe, they actually added a dubstep shotgun.
that's very 90s for sure. For sure. Okay, so here it is. I think they got it wrong, but I have it here. There was only one ever available in the interwebs. I'll put it up right now. All right, you see it? Oh, it's loading. Give me a sec, guys. Chat, hold on, chat. It was called the Saints Row 4. My bad. The Super Dangerous Wad Edition. All right. This
What?
edition includes the Commander in Chief Edition, which is like the deluxe edition of the game, a Virgin Galactic space flight from Virgin Airlines, a full size replica of the dubstep gun, plastic surgery, personal shopper, 7 nights at the top royal suite at the Burj Al Arab in Dubai, hostage rescue experience, spy training day, capsule wardrobe, a week for two at the Jefferson Hotel in Washington, D.C., first class flights to D.C. and Dubai, a Lamborghini Gallardo,
What the?
a new Toyota Prius plus 1 year's insurance of the Prius, which is kind of crazy that you get a Prius with a Lamborghini, and a year's supercar membership. Now, there was only one ever available, and this bad boy was straight up, not kidding you, it's just straight up $1 million. So for $1 million pre-order, you get all this. Now that's DLC for you, like life DLC.
Oh my god!
Nerds have way too much money. That's all I'm saying.
Just
But
the
yeah,
absurd amount is giving me a headache.
wait, the fact that you can, it's literally the full Saints Row experience. Matter of fact, it's so on point.
The only thing missing here is being greeted freaking like you land in DC and you get greeted by freaking Keith David.
Right?
That's
And
the
like
only thing missing here.
I feel like they should have added the fake paparazzi follow you for the whole day. Like, I think that would have been a good one too, to make you feel like, extra, right? But yeah, man, this is insane. Like, you get a vacation, you get a personal shopper, you get a wardrobe, you get an experience to be rescued, as a hostage. You get a supercar and a Prius. I mean, at the time, Prius was much more like impressive because it was new. But man, a Lamborghini Gallardo, that's pretty wild. Uh, well, the $1 million pack, that's kind of insane. I
Okay,
mean, we're not even playing video games at this point.
I'm trying to remember, what year did Saints Row 4 come out?
Oh, 20
Was it like
2017? No, it's probably not that. That's
Saints
some
Row 4? I
Saints
thought it
Row
was
3.
like 13, 14.
Yeah, it's definitely like older Saints Row 4 release. 2013, August 19, 2013.
2013.
Some guy was like on Reddit, did someone buy this? Because it's out of stock on the website.
And I'm looking up the 2013 Lamborghini Gallardo, and
Yeah. I think any Lamborghini Gallardo looks awesome, whatever year it is. But
agreed. But
it's kind of like at this point, it's like, do you even get the game? Yes, it's the first thing that you get. But it's kind of funny that you get
and the car itself, just like one figure that was pulled off of Carfax, this thing's going for 145 grand.
There you go. There you go, guys. I mean, if you wanted the full Saints Row experience, you get to be the president for the day. You get to go to Dubai, you get your supercar, you get your flights, DC. If you don't like your character and the way they look, you can get plastic surgery.
I swear to God, if whoever got that didn't at least spend one day rocking the Saints purple,
right? And I feel like everything you should have got was purple, right? The supercar should have been purple. Your jet should have been purple.
The Prius should have been purple.
Yeah, your wardrobe should have been purple, right? So I mean, anyway, that's pretty crazy, and that's what we do here at Yo. Check this out. That is wild. That is wild. That's all I got. But anyway, let's go on to everyone's favorite segment and your favorite segment of mine. This week in gaming history. As soon as this thing loads, there we go. All right. If it's first time on the channel and this is your first time watching This Week in Gaming History, it is the part of the show where we talk about, gaming history. Whether it's games released on specific days, consoles released on specific days. This week we're covering the 20th all the way to the 26th. So we do Sunday through Saturday. So let's get the show on the road. All right. First one on the 20th. Let's see what we got here. I chose Devil's Crush. Oh, who could have guessed? Came out in 1990 in Japan. If you guys don't know, this was a Devils and Demons themed pinball game. Let's see if I can find some some footage here in a second. But this was on the TurboGrafx 16. We don't really get too many of those games on This Week in Gaming History, but this is one of the most popular ones on there. So let's go ahead. I'll go ahead and feature that, but I'll go ahead and name some games here for the 20th while I do that. Fatal Fury Battle Archives Volume 1 on the PS2 in 2006 in Japan. Bastion on the 360 in 2011. Death's Door came out on PC, Xbox One, Xbox Series X in 2021. And a very obscure game, the sequel to a very obscure game, Punch Club 2 Fast Forward, came out on basically everything. So, Ace, do you own Fatal Fury Battle Archives? I feel like you're the one. You're the one to own that.
I would have.
That's on PS2, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, since it's on PS2, we all know where we can get it.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And Battle Archives Volume 1, what do you call this? Implies this is a Volume 2.
Yeah,
is there a Volume 2?
Volume 2. Let me double check here what games came with the Battle Archives real quick. So Battle Archives Volume 1 actually covers No, I'm not trying to pull up a YouTube video. Just what games it covers.
Here's Devil's Crush for y'all.
There we go. Battle Archives 1 actually covers the main, the main Fatal Fury series. Fatal Fury 1, 2, Special, and 3.
Okay, they don't do a real bout just yet.
Nope, Real Bout comes in Volume 2.
Volume 2, okay. But yeah,
And
this is I don't know if you've ever played Devil's Crush. This is it. It's got like it's a very like dragons, demons, and like sometimes aliens. I think it's called Alien Crush in the US, and there's 2 different ones. So have you played
like
any of this?
It's honestly the first thing I think of when I see this is just Sonic Spinball.
Yeah, no, and that's totally fine. And I think this is a product of its time, right? Sonic Spinball was part of this.
Yeah.
And I mean, I played Nintendo Pinball for like ever. That was like a super fun one. So to have it more edgy and to have it better graphics as a pinball game, there wasn't a lot of it online really. The only other game I can think of, and this is actually a more modern release, was I don't know if you've heard of it, but Demon's Tilt. Has anybody heard of Demon's Tilt?
Heard of it, but never knew what it was.
Yeah, Demon's Tilt is like the homage to Devil's Crush. I'll show you.
Oh wait, no. Jagos, core memory unlocked, bro. That was one of the games on Nick Arcade.
So this is Demon's Tilt. This is new, like not new, but it came out like not that long ago.
Oh, this one looks baller.
Yeah, I have this on my Switch, and I like if I want to pick up and play something like this, I just put this on and I play it.
I'm gonna need to pick that up myself.
Yeah, so this is a classic one, and the cool thing about this too is that like there's like an adventure mode, right? So if you hit a certain like portal or something, it takes you to another board.
Huh.
Right, and then you have to do like this mini boss fight where you have to fight like a serpent or something. So
that's cool.
Yeah, there's like little weird mini quests. Like for the one up there, you have to unlock the Chimera, and then you have to break its like mask, and it becomes a lion, and then eventually frees itself. Like yeah, it's a lot of like weird little things. It's kind of fun. So check it out.
Crazy
when you get a chance. All right, so yeah, Devil's Crush and Demon's Tilt, folks. All right, move on to the 21st here. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, check your eyeballs because the 21st of July in 1995, they released the Virtual Boy. Yes, ladies and gents, the future of gaming in red and black. In red and black. You see how the console's red and black? Well, everything you see in those visors is also red and black. And it would give you a headache if you played for too long. So,
and I was about
yes.
to say, you'd be lucky if your vision wasn't red and black by the
time. I didn't own one. The only time I've ever seen a Virtual Boy like in person was at Toys R Us as a demo, right?
Yeah, Toys R Us and Target.
Yeah, I've never owned one. I don't think any of my friends owned one. It was just so weird. Like, I think the fact that it was only red and black like really dissuaded a bunch of people because Super Nintendo was so on point in 1995. But yeah, it was just like cool. It's 3D. It's virtual, right? Like that was the hype. Now virtual means totally different now. So, but yeah, chat. Have you guys or anybody owned a Virtual Boy? I know. I mean, I kind of want one just to have one, but I know I won't play it. So what's the point?
The Nintendo wireframe Oculus.
Yeah, before Meta Oculus, they had the Virtual Boy at Nintendo. So,
but
yeah,
I mean the Wario game that was on that was actually pretty solid. That was the one that I got to play at the at the kiosks at
the demo station. Yeah, mine was Mario Tennis, I think, at the time. And it like for I was 14 when this came out. I was like, oh, this is so cool, right? But like, what was the price point of the Virtual Boy back in the day? Let's see. Virtual price. And on release. Came out for $180. And I think the Super Nintendo was like $200. So it's like, why would you get a Virtual Boy when you can get a Super Nintendo, you know?
Right.
I'm a youngin. Yeah, we all are youngins at heart. So my shell is just old. So Yeah, other games that came out that day, along with the Virtual Boy console, was actually Mario Tennis. And let's see, what was it? Galactic Pinball. So that was the one. No, you was playing some Wario game. You said, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Castlevania Dracula X on a Super Nintendo. That's a big one. In Japan, Galactic Pinball on the Virtual Boy in 1995. King's Field on the PlayStation in 1995 in Japan. Mario Tennis on the N64. Mario Kart Super Circuit on the Game Boy Advance in 2001. This was like the Nintendo era.
King's
Um,
Field, aka aka FromSoft the Origin.
yeah, the Darkest of Souls. That's the one.
Pitch
Um,
Black Souls.
Yeah, speaking of Darkest of Souls, Limbo had come out on the 360 in 2010. That's a good pickup, small pickup if you want to play a platformer and a puzzler. You'll be familiar with this one. Onechanbara Z2 Chaos, right?
Mhm.
On the PS4 in 2015. The legendary Fortnite also revealed its ugly face on the PS4 and Xbox One in 2017. I actually own a physical copy of Fortnite before it became a battle royale. It was actually a tower defense mode game. So a lot of people don't know that actually. Pikmin 4 on the Switch in 2023 and Remnant 2 on the PS5 and the Xbox X in 2023. So let's see if I can have a real quick, just in case for the fans here, Virtual Boy gameplay. Let's just do one Virtual Boy video. I'm curious what this looks like. For you, Ace, I'll do Wario Land. Wario Land.
I can work with that.
And I think at the time too, like Wario was kind of taking over the space, right? Over Mario. Like
Mhm.
so you notice how it's like two screens, it's because it's like 3D, right? So if you guys are in chat and you guys are watching, that's how you make it realistic looking. There's like a foreground and background, and when we had 3D goggles back in the day, and that's why you see there's two images on the screen right there. So, but yeah, I remember playing Wario Land on the Game Boy. You know, that was really fun. And the fact that you could shoulder check everything was pretty cool.
Oh
He was
yeah.
much more violent than Mario. That's all I gotta say. Yeah, yeah, it was rough. Yeah, absolutely, it was rough. But the fact that see, there's parallaxing in the background, and you can jump in the background, right? That's part of the Virtual Boy's like, oh man, that's so
it
cool, you know?
it had lane shifting like Fatal Fury.
Oh yeah. Oh, why didn't they have a fighting game, right? I think that would have been super cool. So, yeah, that's a little bit of Virtual Boy action for you there. Okay. Now, moving to the next one here in the 22nd, Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake had come out on the MSX in 1990 in Japan. This is the official the first game in the Solid series. So the Metal Gear that we got on the in the US, that's actually the prequel to this game, right? But we never got this game in the US. We got Snake's Revenge, which was totally different than Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake. And I think fun fact, the Metal Gear that you play in the US, you're Big Boss in that one. And or some I think I mean confused. There's so many, but the character you play in that game is the boss of this game. So like the way the story works, from what I understand, is like that person like rebels and he starts his own like outer haven, right? And then this new guy comes in and is like, oh, you're the guy from the first game, pretty much.
And that right there reminds me of, just a random Twitter post that I saw today. Just, well, not today, but a couple days ago, just talking about, various tropes that people like really like to see in video games. And one thing that I absolutely love is, you know, having a sequel to a game that you loved where the protagonist from the first game shows up more often than not as an opponent in the second.
Like Prototype.
Like Prototype, like Fantasy Star Universe.
Yep. Yep.
Oh,
And I think that's good. I think that's clever writing, and I think it's a good way to like combine the world build, right?
mhm. Or like
So
facing off against Red in one of the later
yeah,
Pokemon games.
absolutely. And I feel like if you're a person that's like, I'm dedicated to playing the first one, the second one, right? And you see your character from the first game that you played before, I think that's an extra level of hype, right? That's
That's
super cool.
that's actually part of what inspired my little, fan, my little fan made story write up for a hypothetical Street Fighter 6.
Mhm.
Actually, no, not for 6, for a hypothetical Street Fighter 5.
Oh, okay. The
'Cause-
what if Street Fighter 5?
yeah, because it was basically, the tournament. The tournament was basically set up because aside from Ken, Ryu was trying to find someone else who could actually put him down because he was starting to turn.
Mm. I feel like Akuma could do that.
Oh,
But like,
without question.
right? But I think imagine if Goken and Akuma fused together. That would be kind of cool. I guess that's how we got Oni, I guess. But yes, other games that came out on the 22nd. Shining Force CD on the Sega CD, 1994, Japan. The King of Fighters 98, Slugfest. What my personal favorite King of Fighters, and I think that's a lot of everyone's favorite King of Fighters 98 was a really good one in the arcade in 1998. And the best thing about King of Fighters 99 is it also came out in 1999. It's almost telling you when it came out in the arcade as well. So the King of Fighters games always came out on the 22nd, it looks like. For 98 and 99 was strictly just exactly 1 year right after the other, which is cool.
Yeah, or at the very least, like latter portion of July. Like this is basically SNK week.
All right. The Misadventures of Tron, one of the most rare games on the PlayStation, came out in 1999 in Japan. The sequel to Boktai 2, Solar Boy Django, super cool name, on the Game Boy Advance in 2004 in Japan. Gradius 5 on the PS2 in 2004 in Japan. Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door in the GameCube in 2004 in Japan. See, all these bangers was coming out in 2004 because Tenchu Fatal Shadows also came out on the PS2 in 2004 in Japan. So I'm gonna, some 90. I think 99 to me was a ghost in comparison to 98. But you enlighten me on why or how these two are different.
So KOF 98, the Slugfest, is basically it's the dream match that capped off the previous saga. So, let's say if KOF 94, 5, 6, and 7 were like, Children of the Atom, X-Men versus Street Fighter, Marvel superheroes, and Marvel versus Street Fighter, then KOF 98 would be the Marvel versus Capcom of KOF. Because this was, the first like official dream match where everybody got thrown in. I mean, you had your newcomers from KOF 97 with Yashiro, Shermie, and Chris with their Orochi forms selectable by holding start. You had the return of the U.S. sports team.
Yeah. Brian Battler. Let's go.
Right? Mr. Helicopter. And still probably the game where Heavy D is at his best.
Yeah.
God,
bro,
when
are we getting the USA team back, man? I've been fiending for the USA team.
But yeah, KOF 98, it's a lot of people's favorite. It was actually, one of the first. Well, no, it was the second KOF game to actually release in the States. The first was KOF 95 on the PlayStation. Yeah, that was the first one to release in the States outside of the arcades, mind you. And then in 99, actually, KOF 98 was re-released on the Dreamcast as the King of Fighters 99 Dream Match Never Ends.
And that's confusing.
One of the dope things about the KOF 98 port on the Dreamcast was that it incorporated the high quality, high caliber 2D sprites that you see right here on the screen. But all the backgrounds were converted to 3D models.
On the Dreamcast version?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's cool, but I feel like I wish you can turn that off. Why not just keep it and also have that option? But I get what they were doing. They're doing the Marvel versus Capcom 2 thing, right? With 3D backgrounds, 2D sprites.
Yep. That and more or less just trying to leverage the tech that they had available on the Dreamcast.
Absolutely. Because that was the big thing back then. That was the transition to 3D.
Yep. And that was followed up the very next year with KOF 99 when it was released on the PlayStation and on the Dreamcast as KOF 99 Evolution.
I don't think I have that one. I might have to get that. One of the things I really appreciated about the KOF games was that a lot of people don't maybe not notice this, but like notice when you attack or get hit, your character friends in the back react. Right. I thought that's a little piece of detail a lot of people don't really like appreciate.
That's a little piece of detail I wish was actually brought back.
Right. And I feel like, it's these like little things that we used to have and not have anymore because, maybe because they don't have enough time, or they just don't have enough money. There could be a lot of reasons, right? But these are the things that make us love and appreciate these games and like with the work that's put into them is these small details. Like they could easily be removed from the background, but the fact that they react when you get hit and celebrate when you're hitting other people, that's like so cool, you know?
And even when they're knocked out, like say if you're on your second or third character, the others are still in the background, kind of
like they're
kind of slumped over, but they still cheer when you land a hit or when you win.
Yeah, so the game is, KOF is just always has been full of charm. The roster has always been on point. This one actually specifically, like I was introduced to Yashiro on 98, and he was like one of my favorite characters. He was like basically like he's a break dancer. I mean, all three of these guys are dancers from the Orochi team. They're like pop culture like stars, right? With a deep dark secret, pretty much, But yeah, I really hope. I mean, I think they did kind of bring it back in what was that one day? What game was that? Not Street Fighter. Tekken did a good job of this. Tekken 8, when they meet certain characters, they do intro stuff, right? Like stuff like that in fighting games is super cool. Like Mortal Kombat is really good at it, but I feel like more and more developers should add those things if and when they can. So yeah, looking forward to KOF 16 whenever that happens. I can only imagine what that's going to be like. Probably going to be looking like Garo, right?
I hope so.
Yeah, because Garo is a very pretty game.
Or at the very least, like something that's more, something that's a little bit more animated.
That's true.
Because they were getting there with KOF 15, but then they really started coming into their own with their own particular style with Samurai Showdown, and then City of the Wolves is just boom.
Yeah. Hey, art-wise, they really have their style pinpointed now. Now they got to like perfect it. So, speaking of a game that requires perfection, I don't know if you played any Shinobi game, but these games are difficult. But yeah, Shinobi 3 came out on the 23rd of July on the Genesis in 1993 in Japan. It's kind of funny, like to see the old school ESRB in the bottom, a general audience instead of E for everyone. So it's just like, wow, that brought me back because like, when was the last time you saw GA? On a
right? When was the last time you saw TVY7?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we're old. That's all it is. We're old. But yes, Shinobi 3, I thought it was very appropriate we talk about this game or feature it because the new Shinobi game is coming out. It's making a comeback. So some other games that were released on the 23rd. So Castlevania Chronicles, not the one for the PlayStation, but for the Sharp X68000 in 1993 in Japan. We talked about the Sharp X68000 a while back with another game, and Tragic was here when we were talking about this. It's a weird PC that looks really interesting. So that came out for that. Kagero Deception 2, and we'll get to the first one here in a minute, but came out on the PlayStation in 1998 in Japan. Ace, have you ever played any Deception games?
Yes, I have. I played 1 and 2, and both of them are.
They were like, when they came out, they were unique, right? So it's cool. Like, so not too many games let you play as the bad guy, which is kind of interesting.
And just as puzzle games themselves, they're really freaking solid.
Pretty cool. I don't remember playing 3, but I do own 4, which is Nightmare Princess, which is pretty cool. But yes, keep going. Max Payne also came out on the PC in 2001. The edgier times. One of my favorite racing games, Downhill Domination, on the PS2 in 2003. Have you played Downhill Domination?
No, I haven't.
It's just a BMX game, like going downhill on a mountain, but it's like Road Rash.
I'm gonna have to give that a shot then.
Yeah, check it out. It's super cool. It's like Road Rash, but on a bicycle.
All right, you know what? Hold up. Let me bring up my notepad here.
Here, I'll put it up on the screen here. Downhill Domination. Super cool, unique game. I enjoyed it when it was out, but here it is on the screen. Want to check it out there. And then Katamari Forever also came out on the PS3 in 2009. The ultimate form of Sengoku Basara 4 Sumuragi, came out on the PS3 and PS4 in 2015 in Japan. Of course, we had to add that. Under Night In Birth EXE Late ST came out in the arcade in 2015. If you guys like anime fighters, Carry On was also a game that was released in 2020. That was like a weird, like, you get to be a parasite and you grow and grow into a bigger parasite as you consume more creatures. And Conscript came out in 2024 last year, which is like a really interesting, like, World War One, like, adventure survival game, where you play in the trenches of World War One. So it's super, super cool. So yeah, this is Downhill Domination, super hype. You do tricks, so it's a little bit like Cool Borders, a little bit of Road Rash, but you do get to like punch and kick your opponents.
Oh,
But the feeling of speed was really cool in this game. And it's like, a little bit of Excite Bike also. So it was a hidden gem. Like, nobody knew what this was except me and like my two friends. So yeah, super
man.
super fun game. Super fun game. The soundtrack was pretty on point too, because it was like almost equivalent to Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, right? As far as the soundtrack. So
I'm gonna have to look this up.
yeah, please do look it up. I'm pretty sure a physical copy would also not be too expensive also, but yeah, it's worth playing regardless in how you play it. So check it out when you can. Downhill Domination. All right. Oh, actually, I want to hear about Sengoku Basara 4, because I know a lot of people don't know too much about that. So give us a quick rundown on Sengoku Basara 4.
Okay, so how best can I start off describing Sengoku Basara 4, or just Basara as a series?
Yeah.
Imagine Samurai Warriors, but all of your historical generals are basically to quote the developers, to quote the development team that actually worked on this, literally superheroic versions of said historical figures. So in Samurai Warriors, you've got a more semi-realistic depiction of Ieyasu, at least in the first ones. He's more, the elder statesman, or in Samurai Warriors 5, the the dual blade wielding twink.
That's a good one.
But in Sengoku Basara, Ieyasu is a straight up boxer.
Yeah, no, he's like one of my favorite characters in that.
It's like he's a boxer, and Tadakatsu Honda is a Gundam.
Yep. Yep.
How else can I put it?
Hold on. Did we even forget to mention the Monkey King?
Oh gosh,
Hideyoshi Toyotomi was like Broly in this game.
Look, in other depictions, in other more realistic depictions, Hideyoshi, his nickname is the Monkey, so he was more, more, Wukong monkey style.
Yeah, like trickster.
He is a monkey, all right. Like a silverback gorilla.
Yeah, he's G Unit in this game.
Like he is a silverback gorilla with chainable command grabs.
That's the best part. Yeah, like, if someone were to ask me what is Sengoku Basara is, I always mentioned, like, think Samurai Warriors, but if it was anime.
Yeah.
Right? It's just like so ridiculous and crazy, right? But it has the same game feel and style of Samurai Warriors, but more anime, more exorbitant, more out there. Wasn't there like there's something unique about Sengoku Basara though? Like, wasn't there like different paths you can take to change like the story in some way or form? I can't remember,
Yeah,
but there was, right?
Yeah, in Sengoku Basara, particularly from 3 forward, there are actually multiple branching story paths that your characters could take. And wait, are we looking at a?
This is
Okay,
the English translation fan translation. See, English patch.
okay.
One.
I'm gonna have to find that.
Yeah, for sure. That's why we feature it. Oh, that's our
But
boy.
but yeah, like if you are a Muso or beat 'em up or hyperkinetic action game fan like us, like we boys, and you're looking for something you're looking for something just a little more, well, a little more animated, something a little more fast paced. Definitely check out Sengoku Basara. If you can find a way to import it, definitely get Sengoku Basara for Sumeragi, because
Yeah.
it's the definitive version of Sengoku Basara 4. So you've got the characters that you can unlock from the start. You've got the different branching paths. You've also got the additional characters that were added in Sumeragi as like part of the expansion.
Yeah, it's like the complete version of said game. Because from what I remember, the pattern was base game, and then they do like a little bit of DLC, and then they do the complete game because it's a Capcom company. So they do
Yep.
like the super version of the game, right? And Sengoku Basara was like a hype train back then. Like it didn't reach US until 3, right? Or no, was there an English one on the
Uh,
Wii?
the first one, the first one that came out, unfortunately, was the heavily localized Devil Kings,
Devil Kings, yeah. Yeah, which like
and
you're
then
like
it
what is
didn't come
basically
back to
not
the
related.
States until 3 came out on the
Yeah.
PS3, and that
And
was
we were lucky that we got that, right?
right.
Because the reception on it wasn't very big because like Ace and like only a few hardcore people knew about it in the series. Because imagine starting off at 3 and you're like, where are the other two? Like where are those at? Right. So we're just happy that we got a localized version of that. But if you really, but the one of the benefits of the PS4 was that you could play any regional game on it. So go ahead and just pick it up in Japan. So, but yes, you saw it. I'm not gonna hide it. Monster Rancher came out on 7/24 on the PlayStation in 1997 in Japan. But yeah, before I jump into that, this virtual monster breeder, that sounds more disgusting now than it did back then. um, there's some other games that also came out. Crazy Taxi 3 High Roller on the Xbox in 2002. Siren Blood Curse on the PS3 in 2008. The Samurai Showdown Anthology came out on the PS2 and the Wii in 2008 in Japan. That's a hard one to find. I don't even remember that coming out. And the Mega Man X Collection, Legacy Collection 1 and 2 came out on basically everything in 2018. So here's some Monster Rancher. Tell us more about Monster Rancher.
I was transported to a faraway land into a world where monsters ruled.
While you were playing Pokemon, I was studying the disc.
Real talk. No. Oh, Monster Rancher. That was a monster breeding game. That was a legitimate game changer at a time where Pokemon and hell, even Digimon were pretty much like taking up the lion's share of the monster breeding genre. Monster Rancher came out and just completely upended the cart. Because how else were you going to be able to actually generate monsters outside of finding them in game? You swap discs. If you've got music CDs, if you've got other game CDs, if you've got, well, yeah, it was Monster Rancher 3 that actually started incorporating DVDs. But like between game and music CDs, like if you had anything, and of course, PC, CD-ROM discs. If you had anything that was on disc-based media, you could throw that bad boy into your PlayStation and generate a monster disc, and eventually wind up with, various monsters with different stats, or even special monsters off of certain discs. And you could raise them on your farm, train them up, take them to the different tournaments, especially the major cups that happen every quarter. And this was also one of the first monster breeders where you would have to deal with the unfortunate happenstance of one of your monsters dying.
Permadeath, huh?
Brother, the moment my first tiger died, I cried for that pup. I shit you not. I had to stop the game, go outside for a little bit, and just let the waterworks go for a couple of minutes.
Jago said something interesting here. Man, Tips and Tricks had a whole section for music on Monster Rancher.
Mm-hmm.
That was actually something that was hovering in my brain. Like, was there like a specific like pattern where you could find like specific monsters on specific discs?
And yeah, Dragon Seeds had permadeath as well.
And I think that's important, honestly, because the stakes are higher than ever before. You know,
But
and
what was also really cool, though, speaking of the monster discs, is that although you were faced with your monsters dying, you also had a way to actually, again, breed them, so that way, you had monsters that were further down the line that were stronger, that were healthier, and that would live longer. So you'd be able to crossbreed, like, tiger with, say, with the dino. You could crossbreed those two, and you'd wind up getting like a pink scaled variant of tiger, or like a blue wolf variant of the dino.
so like it really enforced you to be creative and discover things.
It did.
Yeah. And I think that's like one of the things that's lacking these days is the wonder of these of gaming, right? Like this, like that's why I think Pokemon Go is so popular. It forces you to go discover things and be like, oh, this is cool, right? This thing's no different. Like I have this stack of CDs and discs. I want to see what kind of monsters are in here. Like it's super cool.
Look, how many weekends have people spent sitting in front of their CRT TVs with the PlayStation hooked up and a 3-foot tall tower of CDs just going through each and every one of them, cataloging which monsters came out of it?
I read about this game when I was a kid. My experience with it was like I thought it was super cool. I didn't actually own it. My best friend Gordon actually owned this game, and he would tell me like, "Oh man, my Limp Bizkit CD had this," and I was like, "That's super fun." You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just super fun to hear that stuff. So,
Right?
but yeah, good time.
Like this isn't just that actually just brings it all home, because it was more than just a game. It was more than just a piece of software. It was conversation. It was chilling with your friends. It was a treasure hunt.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Like every time you see a new disc of some way or form, it could have been Microsoft Flight Simulator, right? You'd be like, what kind of monster does that generate? Like in your brain, you're just like, what?
Like you could find one of those AOL dial-up discs that your dad used to use as a poster, and it's like, I wonder.
Yep, that could be numerous demo discs, right? Just anything you can find. Give us an example of a special one. Like if there's I'm sure Tecmo games were like really unique, right?
Well, yeah, there was I believe it was actually Dead or Alive that actually got you a special Pixie variant that was modeled after Kasumi.
How appropriate.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was a Dynasty Warriors variant. Well, no,
that'd be cool.
That was before they fused.
Yeah,
well, that was before they merged. So
there you go, guys. There's your childhood on a disc. That's pretty cool. And they could bring this back, honestly, in some way or form.
Monster Rancher 2 Director's Edition is currently out on the Switch.
Oh, cool. How are they getting monsters in that one?
Pretty much doing it like how Monster Rancher Advanced did, with like different passwords.
Okay, gotcha. Right. Well, there you go. All right, moving on to the next day.
But just before that, real quick, Dragon's Crown, yes. But Monster Rancher on something like, say, the PS5. And actually, like, considering the different generations of disc media that could be used to generate monsters, but I feel like the sheer volume of monsters you could come up with from that is just almost incalculable.
Yeah, the possibilities are endless kind of thing, you know. So
But anyway, 725. Let's go.
that's right. Dragon's Crown came out on the PS3 and Vita. Sorry, Xbox. Sorry, Microsoft. Came out in 2013 in Japan. We talk about beat 'em ups on this channel a lot, and this was one of the good ones. You want art? This has art. You want roguelike? This has roguelike. You like to grind? This has grinding. You like big muscle mommies? This has it too. It's got everything. So but yeah, Dragon's Crown came out on the 25th of July. And this was, to me, like one of the most impressive beat 'em ups, because like I was a huge fan of the D&D one and King of Dragons, right? So I feel
Mhm.
like Atlas was like, let's make our own. Let's stylize it using the Vanillaware art, which super popular at the time. So and every character played so different, which was very refreshing, right? So if you were playing the fighter, like even the dwarf was a little bit different than the fighter, especially if you switch from like what is that, the Amazon to the sorceress, you know,
Mhm.
that's totally different gameplay. So there was so much variety in how you could play the game, because like the game does force you to replay levels on this like roulette wheel, right? But that's kind of part of the charm. It's like, and when roguelikes were kind of getting into the scene, this was like lightly trying to integrate that to that. So I don't know. I know you played a lot of Dragon's Crownies. I think I saw you play it on your channel before.
Oh yeah. And just like you said earlier, for those of us that really enjoyed the Capcom D&D beat 'em ups, this was, this was like stepping into the backyard, man.
Yeah.
But between that and like how the story is presented, with the actual narrator in each of the scenes, it really did feel like you were like playing a D&D campaign in a beat 'em up.
The
Again,
game
just
also just like the character designs and the art was like the big stand. This like that's what drew me into the game. Like I didn't really know too much about it. Right, I saw the artwork at first, like on
Mhm.
screenshots, and I was like, "This game looks cool." It's like it feels like you're playing a painting, right? And then someone told me it was a beat 'em up, and I was like, "Well, I'm in. It's a visually
So,
impressive game, and then it's beat 'em up. I'm gonna play it."
and yeah, like funny enough, no, my main was not the dwarf. Actually, it was the elf and the Amazon that were my two major characters in this.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
But I
Uh,
like
The
the
I remember like reading somewhere the elf can like one shot things because of like the way she's set up.
with the
That
proper
was a long
setup.
time
Yeah,
ago. Yeah.
I still haven't been able to find it, but I mean, just getting into the more fast paced, more aerial gameplay style.
Mhm.
It was really cool. Like, you know, I mean, you're already seeing it right here, how she can just easily transition from her melee attacks into, her different shots and like, vaulting into the air and pulling off mid-air tricks.
Yep. And also the game had branching paths. So like even if you play the same stage, there's different like directions you can go.
Mhm.
And from what I recall, there were things you can do in the stage that would change up how you play the stage too. So there was like, even though there were like the same stages that rotated, like there were different paths and branches that you can do within the game, within the stage, to make it feel like a new experience. Like it's always
Yeah,
about discovering new things. Super cool. Let's see here. All right. 25th? Yeah. So the other game that I was looking into was Cross Swords on the arcade. I don't know if you've ever played Cross Swords. Uh,
wait, that was the first person one, wasn't it?
yeah, it's like a weird, look at this guy. Look at look at this Conan bro right here.
Right?
uh Cross Swords. This was on the arcade in Neo Geo as well. Geo. This one right here. Yeah.
That's the one.
That's not the duck.
No, not Dawn.
Not Cross Swords. All right. Gotta love the Neo Geo intro, right? It's like it's a classic. But yeah, this is like a behind you ever play Dynamite Duke
Mhm.
on the Sega Genesis? Like this is the melee version of that. Instead of having a machine gun, you have a sword and shield. So one could argue that this used to be like the original For Honor, right? But this was really I remember the arcade, the Aladdin's Castle that I had near me when I was a kid had this, and when I was a kid, this game was hard. Like I didn't understand like the controls as much, because I was a beat 'em up kid. This required a little bit more thought. But yeah, this is one of those games that have never really been replicated. Pretty unique to me. So, but yeah, other games that came out on the 25th. We'll get to that. I have a tab here open for that. King of Fighters 95 back in guess what year? 1995 in Japan. Klonoa 2, Lunatea's Veil in the 2001 on the PS2. The last time we've ever heard of F-Zero GX on the GameCube in 2003 in Japan. If you guys like Final Fantasy Tactics, did you know Onimusha had one on the Game Boy Advance called Onimusha Tactics? Came out on GBA in 2003 in Japan. Shadowrun Returns, all the way back from its Super Nintendo origin, came out on the PC and Mac in 2013. And the hilarious Earth Defense Force 6 came out on the PS4, PC, and PS5 in 2024. So I know you want to talk about KOF 95, Ace, so let's go ahead.
So earlier I did mention that KOF 95 was, the first KOF to hit the States on consoles. But also there was mention, a little bit of trivia that Jagos mentioned earlier. KOF 95 also happened to be one of the favorite games of one Masahiro Sakurai.
Mm-hmm.
You wonder why he was able to get Terry into Smash? It all goes back to his love of KOF, starting right here.
Dude, this is the what do you call it? The sports team wasn't in this one anymore, right? 95. They were only in 94.
Yeah, they were only in 94.
Yeah, I do remember playing this at the Aladdin's Castle. Also, I think when this came out, I think Turbo was also out, and I definitely chose King of Fighters over Street Fighter during this era, just because like it had more characters, had more personality. It just had also King of Fighters, the arcade, was really loud. Also, the announcer was like you can hear that from outside,
Mm-hmm.
and he was a very unique announcer, right? It's very Japanese, but like at the same time, you're like Terry, Rod, like you can hear the voice, right? Round one.
Mm-hmm. Yep, this is also the first game where Iori Yagami was introduced.
He wasn't in 94 for real.
Yep.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, this is probably the one I played more of because I do remember the first one having Iori. The one I played had Iori in it. So cool. Yeah. So this was the reason why we have Terry in Smash, huh? That's awesome. All right, last of the days. All right, we back here, and Tecmo's Deception came out on the 26th. In 1996, Tecmo's Deception, Invitation to Darkness, where you play as Satan's butler. I'm not even kidding. That's exactly who you are. They call him Lord of the Castle or Lord of the Mansion, I think, but it's literally your Satan's butler. The point of this game, and I'll put up gameplay here in a second, was adventurers would try to go into this castle, as you see here, to kill the boss, which is your master, and it was your job to not let that happen. But you're a defenseless little butler, but you were very smart, and you were and your power was conjuring traps, architecture, all these you're basically the devil's Home Alone.
Right.
That's exactly what it was, right? So Ace, tell us more about your experience here while I pull up gameplay.
So, funny enough, the first time I actually saw any of the Deception games, I was staying over at a friend's place playing Monster Rancher.
That's funny.
Found one of the Deception discs, put that in. I forget what monster we got from it, but I was taking a look at it and I'm like, what kind of game is this to begin with? So I sit down, start playing it, and I'm sitting here setting up bear traps and Iron Maidens and just fucking dudes up. It was a
It was
trip.
it was in first person. And what was interesting about this game was that the type of adventurer that would enter the castle would dictate which traps and how you use the trap. Like a slow barbarian guy would fall into a pit. So you create a pit spike trap, right? They fall for it. But like I remember if you had like one of the ninjas like come into your castle, like spike traps were like pointless. They would jump over it, backflip, right? So what you had to do was like everything was technically on a grid, right? Because it's like you're building the trap. So you would calculate how many boxes they flip over or jump, and you would set the real trap there. So that's how you like would break the game, right? So you make a mouse trap that like, oh, you jumped over this one only to fall into my other trap, you fool. Kind of like that. Um,
And
yeah,
and while the first one was in first person, but the second one actually gave you like more of the, you know, isometric and like top down overview, so you could see the field as you were running around in third person as the main character that you were playing.
yeah. I remember the third person was behind the camera, but I don't remember too much. But the first one is the one I put a lot of time into. It was this and Tenchu had like come out at the same time or something, and I remember shuffling
Uh-huh.
between these two games. Just a very unique game. Not many games let you play as the bad guy, right? And you got these people roaming around your house. You're like, what are you doing in this house? Somebody locked the door. you know. Um, but yeah, check it out when you get a chance. The most common or the latest version of Deception is Nightmare Princess on the PS4 and Vita. If you guys have one. Um, but some other games that came out on the 26th, Mega Man Dr. Wily's Revenge on the Game Boy in 1991 Japan. The King of Fighters 2000. Yeah, it's KOF week. You said it. He mentioned it. Guess what year that came out? 2000. Catherine on the PS3 and the 360 in 2011. Fire Emblem Three Houses and the Switch came out in 2019. The Forgotten Wolfenstein Youngblood came out in 2019. Came out on everything. And also, Multiverse RIP came out in 2022 for the first time, and it is now officially defunct. So sorry about that, Multiverse fans. Yeah. So KO 2000. Let me pull up the gameplay.
Now, in KOF 1999, the striker system was introduced. This is where you could have a team of three plus a specified character that you could actually have as like a backup, as an assist. Oh, KOF 2000. KOF 2000 pushed that forward a little bit more, and also introduced, certain special strikers into the mix, or like certain striker exclusive characters. So you could go in with a team of three. Oh no, with 2000 it was the alternate strikers. So each character on the roster had their own exclusive alternate striker character that you could choose.
What's what's like I know that they technically resetted the KOF universe. Like I get it. But like I do miss like, K Dash and Maxima, like that crew, but it opens them up but it does open up the series for newer characters. I get it because these guys have been around forever. Hopefully 16 is like a slugfest. That'd be kind of fun to have everybody
Yeah,
back.
that would be pretty cool to see, especially if because again, each dream match, each slugfest pulls the roster from previous games. So
Yeah.
imagine if 16 pulled in everyone from 15, 14, and 13.
That would be fun if like the teams were represented by the unique characters of every game per year. Wouldn't that be fun? Right? One of the most noticeable things for me in King of Fighters back in the day, and I'm just mentioning this now, that's the stage intros, where like it would pan from a specific thing happening in the stage, and then it would introduce your characters. That,
Mhm.
like, for example, this one, a bulldozer goes through the wall, you know, and you're like, whoa, that's super cool. Like that, I don't think that happens anymore. Also, it's like I said, these little charm things that we see that happen over time, like they've just kind of like removed, right? And I hopefully, like I said, it just comes back, and we see more of that stuff. Like, it's just those small details that we. Yeah, kid, let's go.
Yeah, and also again with KOF 2000, this was yet another KOF game that when it released on consoles, there was some extra content, not just with the modes, but also again with the backgrounds being converted to 3D renders, and also just like with KOF 99, just like with 98, just like with 95, 2000 also released on console with its arranged soundtrack as as the main music in the game, and
it's fire.
yeah.
KOF 2000 also introduced to me the no, that was 2001. It introduced Zero to the boss roster. But if you follow the lore, this is actually just a clone of the real Zero. And in 2001, which is super cool, you get to see the real Zero. So like when like we're talking about how your protagonist was the bad guy in the second game, right? Like to me in a fighting game, when like the story actually moves forward in a fighting game and it's represented by the roster, I think that's super cool. Like that's like another thing that probably we should, more devs should get credit for doing something you don't really see anymore because everything has to be unique, right? So and you can see why a lot of gamers are asking for like characters that they love back in the day. Like every time Street Fighter, everybody wants an Alex, right? Everybody wants a Urian, right? Because those are, where is 6 in the timeline? Like, should we see these characters, right? So that's why it was really cool to see like Gil in 5, right? Like, oh man, Gil's back. He was the bad guy in 3, So it's like stuff like that really just like puts everything together, makes our gamer hearts go, oh, that's good. I'm glad they did that,
And just also KOF 2000 has to be the ending where the Art of Fighting team gets the most kudos. Because how can you not sit in awe when there is a satellite-faced beam firing down on Southtown and Takuma Sakazaki shows up and says, "No, you don't," and redirects barehanded.
Because he can, because he's Mr. Karate.
Thank you.
Spoilers. But yeah, no, that's just like there's like just talking about the stuff, brings back like, stuff we appreciated, right? So and I love hearing about stuff like that. So anyway, that's your this week in gaming history. Now, speaking for the things we love, I love me some good beat 'em ups, and Ace has been featuring Fight Forever, featuring a bunch of characters from other beat 'em ups and fighting games. So, and he's now covering my favorite guy, your favorite guy.
Let's go ahead.
This is the tech.
So, back in the familiar gym. Now, we've all played Final Fight at some point. We all know the basic lineup of 3. You got your grappler, you got your brawler, and you got your speedster. Or your grappler, your brawler, and your ninja.
Yeah, it's like, isn't it like power, speed, and like standard?
Now, those of us that played Final Fight have also at some point, I would think, also played Final Fight 3. So you'll recognize a lot of what Guy can do, not just from the original, but also from 3. Like 3 was the first game where you actually had, dashing attacks for each character. And it's that familiar, Russian 3-hit combo into the sweep. Of course, you've also got your wall jump, which is present with Guy since Final Fight 1, all the way up through Street Fighter Alpha. But again, Guy is actually one of the characters that has one of the longest sets of combo strings in the game, as evidenced by his attack chains on his move list. And he is meant to be your tactical, bricklayer. This is the guy who, if you want to just, keep someone stun locked or just keep the hits coming, keep the pressure on while you've got someone else playing as Hagar, just doing, the bulk of the burst damage. The long combos with Guy. Long combos with Guy are going to be your best friend. So, his classic light attack string is the one we all know and love from Final Fight. His heavy attack string.
Oh, okay. Just 100 hand slap, huh?
Pretty much. But then, of course, when you start mixing up the attack chains between light and heavy, that's when you get some interesting stuff. Like, attacks that are set up for crowd control, or say,
Oh
yeah,
he has maximum spider, whatever it is, the web throw. Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah, if you start switching up between light and heavy attack, and you can get
Nice.
You can get some pretty crazy stuff.
You got knives now too? Dang.
Oh. You can get stuff like that.
That's crazy. Now is Fight Forever just one dude that made this game?
Yeah, Fight Forever is just going to be one whole game once it's done.
No, I mean like the developer, just one guy. Or is it like a team?
Oh, it's Oh, you mean the developer?
Yeah.
One
dude, huh? All right. That's crazy. There's so many talented people. It's so cool.
Now, of course, let's go ahead and go into his actual command specials. Yeah,
Oh, I know what that one is. That's in the alpha.
Mm-hmm. And of course, the enhanced version has wall bounce. You've got a set of flying kicks, which can be enhanced for a full combo. Oh, that's what it is. It's, Wait a minute. So let's do this.
Yeah,
there we go.
It's Alpha Super.
Air combo, like the Super from Street Fighter Alpha.
Yep.
And you remember, guys, his actual super attack from Final Fight 3?
Yep, he has that. Yep. The palm burst.
Yep.
Does he have his demon rage?
Oh, you're wondering what he's got for his super as well. I have such sights to show you. Well, once I can actually get him in the air.
Nice. Oh yeah, that's classic.
Let's see.
He just has Ragnarok. Okay.
And then his full-on hyper combo. There we go. That's when we grab, and then
that's a grab, huh? gotta land in an Azuna drop. Gotta love it. Yeah, in Alpha 3, he had. I think that's pretty much his Demon Rage. From Alpha 3.
That was pretty much his a kind of a lead up to his Alpha 3 super. A lot of his stuff, just like with Hagar and just like with Cody, it's what would best be described as how those supers would probably play out if they were available on back on the CPS1 hardware as opposed to the CPS2. But yeah, for the folks that decide to go ahead and pick up Final Fight Forever, oh, hold on, I knew we were missing something. There's one more super. It's 4 down 4. So here we go. The Hanzo super from World Heroes Perfect.
Yep. I'm assuming you're a Hanzo player, not a Fuma player.
Johnny Maximum.
Okay, I mean that makes sense, but I definitely picked Fuma over Hanzo.
Oh, if it was just going between those two, actually, yeah, I picked Hanzo.
Like 12 people know what we're talking about right now. That's all, and there's the Mudman player in one of them.
Yo, to all my Mudman and Rasputin players out there, mad respect.
Yo, yeah, Rasputin players is next level. They're really good, from what I know. They're really good.
Like, listen, there is no in between. If you were playing someone in World Heroes and they pick Rasputin, they are either going to mess your shit up, or you are going to steamroll them. There is no in between.
Yeah, for sure. And then usually the Rasputin player is trolling. Usually, like they usually have a better character that they have.
Oh, without question. That's like what happened what happens when I pick Dan in Street Fighter 4 or Marvel vs. Capcom. I'm just playing to fuck around, get my laughs on.
It's from my experience. Like Rasputin players are. That's not their main. They got a main.
But yeah, other than that though, that is going to do it for the tech. That's going to do it for Guy in Project Fight Forever. Again, for those of you that are looking for a great beat 'em up with quality of life improvements that's being handled by a fan creator with so much drive, passion, creativity, is working on this. Download it, show your support. Let's help this guy actually finish up the rest of the roster and the rest of the game itself, so that way, we can have a full, fleshed out product that people can download and enjoy and have so much time and so many hours of just digging into and really not just having fun with the game, reliving the old school stuff, even with characters from like Sonic Blastman or Street Fighter, or hell, he's even adding in one of the characters from Tough Enough.
Oh, well, that's a reach.
Yeah, deep cuts.
Deep cut.
But yeah, just support this kind of indie project, this kind of fan project, so that way more people can actually get their hands on it and enjoy the fruits of this one incredibly talented developer's labor.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It is.
That is the tech, ladies and gents. I love it. And yeah, and then if you download that and play it on stream, that shows more exposure for a lot of people. So that's good. So hopefully our show can help out with that, because I love seeing stuff like that. I think I saw you play like that Double Dragon one, right? The fan project one. That was really, really cool. Like, so me seeing stuff like that is like always like super neat. Like I didn't even know about that. Then you play it. I'm like, oh, cool. Like I want to check it out now.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, the guy who did Fight Forever, he's the one that did the Double Dragon one too.
Yep. See, That's what I'm saying. So, and if we support that, he's just gonna keep doing it, right? And the more positive feedback he gets, the more positivity that there's a fan base for it. People want more. You might get extended out to other, you know, other what do you call this franchises? Like for example, can you imagine him making like the next Knights of the Round? Right? Like something similar to that, like with like King of Dragon sprites, or maybe in a Dungeons and Dragons one. Like he can just make one himself, right? That'd be super cool. Like, it's just support stuff like that because we don't need AAA. Games are everywhere, right? And there's fans that are making as good as games as we remember back then in our childhood. So, but yeah, check that. And I want to hear this.
Available for your home in 1995.
There you go. That's what needs to happen. A KI beat him up. Let's go. I would love that. But anyway,
don't give me hope.
Right. This week, we're going to be talking about the discussion of is physical media still worth in 2025 for the roundtable, right? So this is more like a linear conversation, but hey, chat, feel free to jump in. Personally, you look behind me. Do you think I think it's worth in 2025? Matter of fact, I think it's even more valuable in 2025. But there are some caveats. I do have some issues with physical media, but I will get into that in a second. But yeah, Ace, is physical media still worth it in 2025?
As far as I'm concerned, yes. I mean, sure, there's the convenience of buying digital, but let's consider certain things that have come from digital marketplaces. And actually, let me go ahead and find the link to this because there was a video that I saw earlier today. Actually, there's a video that I saw earlier today that really quantifies a lot of the issues that have come with digital purchases and the further and further push toward an all digital future. And that is actually, where is it? Because I saw it. Here we go. Share it. Let me copy that link right here. And I'm going to go ahead and post it up on the Twitch chat so that way folks can see it. But I'll also post it in the private chat here so you can share it on your channels as well, GQ.
Cool.
Just a quick second while I pop that in there. So yeah, it was the most recent video today from Bellular News. And it's in regards to what is known as the Sony tax.
Sony tax, huh?
So when you put, actually adding up pricing and, actually, digging into the figures, what effectively came out of it was that apparently the price of digital games has actually been on average, I think it was like, 48% more expensive compared to
47%. Looks like average.
47%. But yeah, just the between Sony actually making it so that basically Sony saying retailers like GameStop can no longer sell digital download codes for games and keeping that stuff pretty much only on their storefront. It pretty much reinforces what Michael Bell referred to as the walled garden that Sony had been building.
Mm-hmm. From what I remember, the early conversations of like pushing digital was like, I feel like they were like, it's going to make gaming cheaper because there's no product to have, distributed, right? And I was like,
no physical product to manufacture.
Correct. Yeah. Save money on discs, save money on boxes, all that, material stuff. But yet they weren't cheaper. Matter of fact, there was no
Right.
incentive for it to go cheaper.
The lie detector test proved that was a lie.
Right. And I was like, at first I was excited. I'm like, oh, cool, more options, right? That's kind of what I was getting at because I love options. I love your ability to choose what you want, you know. But them saying like it will be cheaper, like that would incentivize people to be like, well, I want to get my game now. I don't really care about physically owning it, so I'll save money by just downloading it, right? Because back in it, you couldn't download a game before, right? But now, like, since there is no so pretty much what they're saying, since there is no price drop on digital games, is that we're just going to reap more benefits from the profit. That's the simple way of telling us how they think of us. They don't want to pass on the savings to the consumer. They want to pass on the profits to their investors.
They're investors.
Yeah, 100% to their investors. So this is why I say these companies don't really care about you, right? Because if they did, they'd make these decisions in ways that it benefits you, and the choices in the games and the way games are monetized and etc. You can see that in their action, not with what they say, but with what they do to the game itself. So and this kind of leads to my opinion on this issue is that I for one, I'm a physical game guy because I believe in having the freedom of putting a game in, playing it without, I mean, of course, within reason. Because if it's a MOBA or a MMO, of course, I can't play that offline, right? But you should always have the option for single player games to be played offline, no security check. Because if you're not going to go online, why does it matter, right? And at the same time, the game should be on the disc. I know I know you devs, not you devs, but you publishers, you guys basically just put the install on the disc. I know you guys do that. And I'm calling you all out right now. That is not the way. This is not the way, right? Because what is the point then of buying? And I get what you're doing. You're getting, you're you're depreciating the value of physical game.
Right. What's the point of buying a home console?
Yeah.
If the home console is basically just going to be a PC specifically built to hook up to your TV and play games, you might as well just get yourself a decent PC.
Well, but that's the most interesting part, Ace, is that they're taking away things that makes it for you to play physical games anyway. Like we went from, disc, cartridge, disc. Now we're going to digital. There's no disc drive, right? So they're taking all these things away from you, and you guys got to pay attention when you see this stuff because if I'm not saying, hey, if you support that, you're part of the problem, but in reality, you vote with your wallet. Is all I'm saying, right? It's your choice. But when they see the stats, like for example, like they know that a lot of people, I think it's like over 60% now, buy their games digitally. What does that tell the company? Well, we don't really need to emphasize on physical if people are buying them digital, right? So my thing is be part of the problem. Buy physical games, right? Be a thorn on their side because we know that you guys have to understand. You guys hold the power because you guys hold the money. This is why these AAA companies are now panicking because you're not buying their games, which is great. Now they're forced to adjust. They're forced to say, well, what are people going to buy, right? That's what they need to do, not to be changing. The fact that they're in a panic about this shows you how out of touch they are because how far have we gone? Because we originated in single player gaming, we originated offline gaming. Now all they can think about is monetizing us on multiple transactions, online, live service passes, etc. So this is what I mean. You guys hold more power than you think. Vote with your wallets. Buy physical when you can. Support secondhand stores if you can. Local stores if you can, because they're gonna have games that they actively look for games that are hard to find, and they want you to come into their store and check it out. That's like one of the benefits of having a retro store or a mom and pop store in your area, not like a franchise store, is that these stores they're usually gamers that are in the store. They're either working there or they own the store, and they know about specific, unique, fun things in the gaming, like that we feature, like in check this out, and they will try to get it in the store so you guys can take a look at it. Like, for example, when was the last time you saw a Rob at a GameStop? Right?
Right.
You can go to the local game store here and be like, you guys have a Rob? And they'll be like, we can ship it up from the other location, not a problem. Like that's what I mean. Like value. Like don't underestimate the power of the local store. Yes, they're gonna be slightly more expensive. They don't have the overhead just like those big box stores, but trust me, it's going to be worth keeping your nostalgia, your hobby, and your passion alive because they will actively try to find games you're looking for so you can own them and keep them. You know, if you have, especially if you have trouble like ordering stuff online, stuff getting stolen. Personally, I would not order something that's $1,000 and have it shipped to my house for me not to pick it, not to be there. Right. I want to just be able to hold it in my hand first before I buy it. So just keep that in mind. That's why physical is super important. Right. And
Absolutely.
the last thing I'll add to that, and I want to hear more what you got to say, Ace, is that physical equals assets. Assets equate to appreciating value. So we talked about Tronbon earlier, right? Tronbon as a digital copy as a download on your PS4, PS3 is worth exactly the same as you downloaded it. But the physical disc, if you bought it for the same price when it first came out, you look at it now, I'll tell you exactly how much it is now. So let me show you. Um, pull up Tronbon on price charting. And go ahead, Ace. I'll while I'm looking this up.
And yeah, just consider this. Let's take it back to let's take it back to SKG. Let's take it back to Stop Killing Games for a second. Now, while that movement is focused more on making sure that your digital goods can't be, ripped from you once servers go down or once service ends. You can't have your digital goods taken from you that you have already purchased. Again, that's about ownership. One of the easiest ways to ensure that you can still retain ownership of a game that you purchase is just getting it physical. Because more often than not, if servers go down for any reason, you'll still have that version that came out on the disc that you can pop into your system and play. I mean, so many more. Part of the reason why we have so many more people going back and playing older games, even if it's just like 2 or 3 generations back, it's because, not just the quality of the game itself, not just the quality of the content in the game, but the fact that it's something that you still own to this day.
Yep. I remember Ubisoft specifically said, you better get used to not owning your games. How okay are you with that statement?
Right? This is the company that said you better get used to not owning your games. This is the company that said putting microtransactions in single-player games makes single-player games more fun.
Remember when those were cheat codes? Remember when they were free? Remember when you earned them, not having to buy them? Right? So
it used to be that the cheat code to get 30 lives was up, up, down, down, left, right, BA start. Now, the cheat code to get 30 lives is $3.99 for a booster pack of 10 lives. Figure it out.
Like, listen, I understand you're busy. You work 50 hours a week, but you just want to enjoy your racing game. You don't have time to unlock all the cars, but you want to play. You want to choose your McLaren F1 or Lamborghini Gallardo, right? And you're like, all right, I'm willing to pay $20 to unlock all the cars to just enjoy my game. That I understand, right? But do not take that option out to unlock it for free. You know what I'm saying? Like some people just want to play the game and enjoy.
Don't take away the option to unlock it through gameplay.
Yeah,
and don't design your game to where it becomes tedium, where it becomes a chore to do so.
Yeah. I mean, do you know why they do that, Ace? You know why they make it so grindy?
They make it so grindy so that way people get tired of it, break out their debit cards and pay for it.
Yeah. That's part of it. That's a big part of it. Actually, matter of fact, I would say that's 99% of it. The other 1% that people probably won't talk about is if you're playing their game, you're not playing another game. Keep that in mind. Your time is your most valuable asset. You can never get back, right? This is why you ask, how much do I get paid per hour? Right? And I'm gonna blow your guys' mind real quick. Your value for your every hour of your life is based on your income, right? So if you get paid X amount of dollars per hour, that's your current income right now, your value. So if you think about it, if you get paid $20 an hour, you're paying $20 to unlock all the cars. You just said, here's an hour of my life for this, right? That's your shortcut. Now, is it worth it for you to maybe spend 20 hours of your life to unlock all the cars, right? And this is what Ace was talking about. People are willing to take that shortcut for that dollar. Now, what I'm saying at the same time is maybe I do want to spend 20 hours of my life unlocking those cars, right? Plus, I'm playing your game as you want me to. I bought it and I'm playing your game, right? I'm not playing any other game. But he's also saying it shouldn't take 60 hours to unlock all the cars, right? I have a job. So what do?
Right.
They force you to buy the DLC to skip over that. I get like their monetization manager. I can read his mind. I know what their plan is. I know what they do. Ace does too, right? But like I said, the more people buy that DLC, the more they say, well, people are buying it, so let's do more of it, right? So that's the issue. One of the issues I have with gaming right now is because we're adults, we're growing up, we don't really have a lot of time. We want to we want to skip it, but at the same time, like it's getting to a point where it's like, just chill out. This is barely even a game anymore, right? Like I feel like I'm doing a chore, just to play my red car.
It's literally turning games into storefronts with more interactive storefronts with more interactive UI.
100%, and I think that's what live service is. 100% live service. Every live service game should be free if you have to purchase things in the game. That's absolutely my hot take on that. And I get it. It costs money to make the servers and stuff like that. Well, how do you explain Fortnite? Well, the game was good. Everybody liked it. It's simple. The game was good. Everybody liked the game. They got people from different.
Another great example that just celebrated its 12th year, Warframe.
Yeah. Just make your game good. If you don't make your game good, no one's going to play it. Therefore, you got no transactions, right? So make it free. And that's the best way to get people to, one, appreciate your game for like, hey, I have access to this game. So the barrier of entry is 0, is your time to play it, right?
I mean, I'll put it to you this way. Over the past week, I have seen no less than 6 different YouTube content creators posting videos talking about and showcasing footage of their very first time playing Warframe. And most of these videos all have the same sentiment. Wait, this game is good? Why did I wait so long?
Yep.
0 barrier to entry, plenty of content without having to purchase it, and most of the content that is in the game you can grind and trade for. You can work to earn in game should you choose.
Yep.
But people can very easily take the free to play path and still get their money's worth out of every single stitch of content in the game.
I play Marvel Rivals. Marvel Rivals is free. Only costs my time to play it, right? Because most of it's cosmetics, stickers, emotes, stuff that's like so extra to the game, to your gaming experience. Doesn't change the game at all. It changes like how you want to experience the game, right? Free. Guess what? It's one of the best selling games out there as far as our best money making games out there, because one, it has Marvel characters, right? Costumes for days. So if you're like, oh, my favorite costume was Uncanny X-Men Wolverine from this era, they have that. You download the costume, right? Simple as that. So doesn't change how Wolverine plays. Doesn't make you better than everybody else, right? But it's free. That's the part that I'm getting at. So that's a good way to really get people to play your game. Now let's take it back to physical copies, because I know we're kind of we're kind of moving away from this, but it is part of it. But to simply put, having ownership of a full game, think about all the retro games that are out in eBay, right? Mikari, Alibaba or whatever, right? All these like auction websites. Your old games, specifically in really good condition, sealed, whatever, is worth more than when you bought it for. And I'll give you an example right now. I'm looking at Tron Bond, right? Tron Bond for the PlayStation released in 1999 in July 22, right? We talked about Tron Bond today. Ace, can you guess how much Tron Bond released for on which price it released for? Which price point?
Let's see. Standard MSRP for most PlayStation games is around like $39.99.
Bingo. So most PlayStation games back then were $39.99. What is this? 1999, right? So $19.99. I'm gonna pull up my inflation calculator right now, because I'm gonna blow your mind on this, because this is why you need to be owning physical games, guys, because y'all gonna be rich. All right, y'all gonna be rich. As long as
if you're not rich, if you're not rich from an anecdotal sense, memories and the time you spend playing the game, there is going to be some value in just keeping the physical material.
Correct. So in 1999, in July of 1999, today's July 2025. Okay, let's see here. This is a wrong calculator. Wow, how hard is it to have an inflation calculator? Let's see here, USD. Okay, here we go. All right, in 1999, $39.99. In 2025, it is $77.43. Okay, just to give you an idea how much that is today, right? So that's brand new. But most games are going to be open. They're not going to be kept closed. Guess what a complete price for Tron Bond is? Manual, box, and CD disc. Take a quick guess.
$350. $5. A stack?
$540. $540 for having that same game you had in 1999 that you bought for $40. So, folks, if you bought Tron Bond 26 years ago, you would just made yourself $500. That's what I'm saying, right? That's insane, right? Now, here's the thing. Let's just say somebody bought you that game. You never opened it. You're like, Tron Bond, lame. It's not Mega Man. You put it in the closet. You forgot about it. 25 years later, you're like, oh, snap. I have Tron Bond? Cool. Leave that shit closed.
Yeah, right.
Go download the digital one for $5.99 on the PSN store. Okay? There you go. $5.99 on the PS1 Classic store. Right? So the game should be cheap digitally. $5.99. But you were lucky to have been gifted or bought Tron Bond, didn't open it, and 26 years later, you found it in your closet, right? You go, wow, I didn't know I had this, right?
Right.
Guess how much money it would be, right? How much money you would have right now if you were looking to sell Tron Bond?
At least a cool $500.
On July 8th, according to eBay, Tron Bond sealed sold for $1,300.
Oh, so it did sell for a stack plus.
Yeah. Just because you didn't open a game that was 26 years old.
Jesus.
So now, we're old now. We're buying games now, right? 26 years pass. I'm an old man. Ace is an old man, right? Some people here are yeah. Your games now, some of them will be that much. So, but if you had bought them digitally, how much money do you think you'd have? $5.99? Matter of fact, no, you'd be negative, because you have to pay $5.99 to play the game again, because you never owned it in the first place. And that, my friends, is the reason why you should have physical games. Keep your physical games, and then down the road, if you want to invest, those games back, maybe buy a house or something, you have assets that grow with you. And this is why physical games are important. Okay. So I know it's tough for you to like keep games in your closet, right? Or sealed, but that's your choice. That's your prerogative, right? But just know, right? You right now we're in a nerd gold mine. Like behind me are probably thousands of dollars of games that I can resell in the future and buy a house with. Right. This is why I strictly tell myself if it's worth to get physical, get physical. It's a hard thing to get it now because it's only going to be worth more later. Right. No different than Michael Jordan cards, basketball cards, baseball cards. It's the same thing with video games. Video games are just modern day video sports cards, right? So just keep that in mind. That it's not your final boss wisdom, but just know that as part of the roundtable today is that physical should stay with you, and these companies are aiming to take those physical assets away from you so they can keep the money, because, like I said, you don't have Tron Bond now. You got it digitally. You got to buy it again for $6 down the road,
So
right?
they can keep the money, and you will have nothing to show for it.
Exactly. So, yes. If there's anything, if there are any takeaways tonight from the roundtable, yeah, that you hold the power. You vote with your wallet. You know, if you can physical, you can, and then you this way you have more freedom. You have more options for yourself down the road. Hell, if you want to spend, if you want to sell your games to get more games, that's even better. You're putting it back into the investment. So there you go. That is tonight's roundtable. All right, fantastic. Where's my cool? There it is.
I'd buy that for $1.
I'm looking to get the intro theme to Smash TV. So that's a pretty hard one to find, but I'm working on it. But Ace, what has changed in the last week? Are you playing the same games? Anything's changed? Any new releases?
Well, aside from playing a lot more Monster Hunter and getting in some time on LC and Wendigo Blue, I actually went back and started playing God Eater again.
God Eater, first one?
Yep.
Okay. Well, why that one? Because I mean, there's a whole library of games to choose from. Why specifically God Eater?
It was literally just one of those things where I was just scrolling through my library to find something else to play, just to change it up.
Yeah.
And I just kind of stopped right there, and it's like, God Eater 1, 2, 3. You know what? If I'm gonna play God Eater, let's just pop in on the first one.
Okay. You're just feeling it.
Yep.
You're just feeling it. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about specific first person shooters. Like, I'll play like the story. I'm like, I really like the story, the single player like narrative for this first person shooter. I'm just gonna pop it in. I do that all the time. So, what do I have? I'm gonna pop in LC here while I'm reading this off. But as always, I'm still playing Marvel Rivals. That new season. Season right now is the symbiotes versus the Phoenix Force. So Null versus Phoenix is super interesting, right? If you've been following me on X, I've recently reached Platinum 2 with Marissa and Street Fighter 6, which is weird because it's higher than my Ryu. And I have years and years playing Ryu, and I have like, a day or two playing as Marissa, but man, she hits like a tow truck. So she's really fun to play. A little bit of Hades, right? Just kind of like, little runs here and there. But I've really gotten back into playing Mass Effect 2. I have now called Space Opera Sundays, playing Mass Effect 2 on Sundays for at least 4 hours. And I'm really appreciating it. Like, it just makes me miss old BioWare much more that I'm experiencing Mass Effect, right? And it's really, really gotten me to be so not bitter, but I really hope they do and I know it's not going to happen. They really do a Legendary Edition of Dragon Age, because they did such a good job with Mass Effect in the Legendary Edition.
Oh man, a Legendary Edition of Dragon Age would be so dope.
And I feel like that's the next project EA and BioWare need to make to test the waters if people are still interested in Dragon Age. Because I know, like, right now they're probably going, "Whoa, we spent way too much money. It didn't sell very well." I mean, people probably hate Dragon Age. They don't care about it anymore, right? And this is my issue with that, is because I don't think the suits know the difference between this Dragon Age just sucks but we still like Dragon Age. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just see numbers and they go, it didn't sell, people don't like it, but they don't know why we don't like it. That's kind of like the the thing that I'm kind of like trying to elaborate over here. So, but yeah, Mass Effect 2 super fun. I'm really digging Mecha Break. We're talking about free to play games. I feel like I'm getting a lot of mileage on Mecha Break. It's got 2 different modes, actually more than that, but 2 main ones. It's like the team deathmatch, capture the point, and then the Fortnite mode, which is like they blast you into this big map, and you have to harvest like material goods and extract them. But then there's other players doing it too. So, and if you see each other, you battle, right? So it's super fun. It's a good way to get like free gear, free loot boxes, pretty much instead of paying for them. That's how you get them in the game. And also at the same time, like if you are a fan of just mech combat Gundam, it does honestly make the game feel is on point when it comes to mech, even more than Gundam versus Gundam. And I love Gundam versus Gundam. So looking forward to any kind of like collabs in the future, because Mecha Break is where it's at. It's like the Gundam game, the mech game, more than Armored Core, honestly. Without the technicality of like customizing your mech, just pure action.
Mhm.
So that's kind of what I'm getting at. Now it is definitely not without its faults. We were talking about how some games are grindy. This game is grindy, capital D, right? So that's one of the caveats of the game. It is definitely grindy. You got to download those tokens. Everything costs tokens. Your colors, your parts, your little mods cost tokens,
Mhm.
right? If you want 3 extra mechs, they cost tokens. You can get them, and you can obtain them free. You just have to play the game a lot. So, and like you said, you do have to play the game a lot to get those tokens. But I am having a good time. Like, so that's like a big part of it. If I wasn't having a good time, then I wouldn't really care. But I am having a good time, so that helps. But as far as from that, like I see a lot of videos coming out for Wu Chang. I kind of want to check out Wu Chang. For is that Forever something? Feathers Forever?
Fallen Feathers.
Fallen Feathers? Yeah, I want to check that out. See what that's all about, because I hear that's like the new trendy game right now. But other than that, just keep crushing it, keep doing it. You got any upcoming titles you're kind of looking forward to?
Uh, well, I heard that there's going to be I guess, a playable demo of Marvel Tokon at Evo.
That's exciting, 100%. And then there's going to be 8 characters to choose from, or no, 6 characters to choose from, not 8. Which is weird because it's a 4v4. I feel like they should have just threw 8 in there.
Of course, again, as far as that goes, though, I'm hoping that 6-player or maybe even an 8-player demo of it is actually, put out for folks to actually get their hands on as just a full-on demo. It looks like the roster itself is going to be 35, 36 characters, though. So,
yeah, I think it's 35. Probably add another 5 or 40 to even it out for DLC, right?
More than likely.
Yeah, because like most ArcSys is 5 characters per season, so that sounds about right. But my guess is they probably won't have a public beta or closed beta for the public until they start testing out the servers. So
until it's got to up the netcode.
Yeah, but I think right now the game we could be looking forward to sooner than later, as far as beta testing, also is probably X2XKO, because that's been actively in production, which is kind of funny because like before everybody was all about 2XKO, now Tokon came out and that's all the attention went to Tokon.
Actually, honestly, if there's like games coming up that I'm really looking forward to, it's got to be Shinobi Art of Vengeance and Marvel Cosmic Invasion. Also, for the folks that have a Switch 2, Wild Hearts S is going to be coming out later this week. So if you passed up Wild Hearts back on the PS4 or the PS5, pick it up on the Switch. Pick it up on the Switch too. It's solid. It's a solid Monster Hunter competitor.
Ragebound is coming out too, right? Ragebound.
Ragebound is coming out pretty soon too.
Right now, like Retro's coming out pretty strong. So that's a big thing. And these are some great games you can pick up, like in between big games. Like my game that I'm looking forward to is Phantom Blade Zero, whenever that comes out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So right now, like my in between games are gonna be like live service games and stuff like that. The game that I actually want to play that I haven't really seen much about it is Lost Souls Aside. It's coming out in August next month. But like Lost Souls Aside is on my radar, but I haven't really seen anything on it. Like how the game feel. I don't know what the game feels like, right? So
Yeah.
that's always like it looks good, but if it feels like booty to play, I don't want to play it, right?
Right. And also Tides of Annihilation.
Yes, that one too. That one too. And hopefully we get a demo for that as well. That's a big one. What's the release date on that?
Some more info.
You know the release date on Tides of Annihilation?
Mm-mm.
Chat, help us out.
I don't think they even had that announced.
All good, all good. All right, we're let's go. Let's take the ending here with the final boss. As always, let's go ahead and end it up for the night. It's getting warmer in this room as we speak, so I want to cover this episode with this. So it's funny because I was trying to like find music for the final boss as you know, and the music that they recommended was to Xanarkin.
Oh God!
And I was like, "Who wants to be depressed?"
I was gonna say, I'm not trying to cry.
I
Come
know.
on.
I was like, what are you doing here? Trying to make my audience sad." No. But yeah, let me get
Well,
this.
I was about to say, didn't Final Fantasy X actually originally release this week as well?
No, I think that was last week.
Okay, no.
Yeah, you may want to double check the syllabus, but yeah, I think it was. I remember talking about it last week. But yes, this is the part of the show where yours truly, the headmaster of Game Academy, gives you your words of wisdom, and hopefully you can take it to the real world and apply some gaming mythology to it. So, because every day we're leveling up, and this week we're talking about EXP, or grinding isn't just for EXP. Okay, so persistence, progress, and life lessons we learn from repetitive effort in games and in life. So the Japanese have a specific mantra that they follow, and it's repetition or mastery to repetition. They will hit something 100 times to perfect that strike, right? And what does Bruce Lee say? Fear the man that has 99 punches that's only punched once.
Don't fear the man that has trained 99 punches once.
Yeah.
Fear the man who's trained in one punch 99 times.
Yes, sir. And even Bruce Lee knows that type of wisdom. So tonight, it's time once again for your weekly wisdom, and a segment I call the final boss. Now, tonight's message: grinding isn't just for XP. Now, in games, we grind because we know the reward is worth it. Now, we run the same dungeon 20 times in Monster Hunter because we want that perfect armor set. We repeat side quests in Final Fantasy because we need gear, or just not to get or just to get strong enough to face what's next. I know I needed that in Final Fantasy IV because I was terrible at it. And yeah, I understand it gets boring. It's not flashy, it's not heroic, but that grind, that's where the growth happens. Real life work works the same way. You don't get that dream job on day one. You don't level up your confidence overnight. Now, whether you're chasing goals in fitness, career, content creation, running an academy, it's a grind, right? We do it every week, every day in some way or form. Whether it's the gym, the inbox, or the fourth failed attempt at editing at one of your YouTube shorts, or or a specific boss in Dark Souls. All of it is XP, right? Now, the difference is in life, you don't always hear the level up chime, right? But that doesn't mean it's not happening. So keep grinding, keep at it, never give up. And just know if you need to take a break, come check us out Tuesdays in the Gaming Academy. So and chat with your buddies over here, right? Because you'll learn something new and more. So now I'd like to ask the chat this. Now, personally, I said, I've been streaming Mass Effect 2 for right now. Yeah, even Shepard has to grind for loyalty. I have to grind for do these specific quests so my ship doesn't blow up at the end, right? I know all about that. But you have to do the work. You got to build the trust. Eventually, you'll be ready for that suicide mission. This is in the game, by the way, not in real life. Now, the same goes for us. We grind now, so when the big moment comes, we don't flinch. We're confident. We look it straight in the eye and go, I got this. I've been preparing for this moment. So just keep that for tonight as your final boss, right? And here's my closing line. Right? You don't get stronger by skipping the grind. You get stronger because of the grind. Stay in it, keep at it, because whether it's on a digital battlefield or one called life. You're leveling up either way. So keep at it, keep going. All right. So that's the final boss for tonight. Ace, you got any closing statements for us and the squad here?
Well, as always, I want to thank everybody for coming out and hanging out with us for these last couple hours. It's been a great class. We've had plenty of interesting topics to talk about, and even just going back through this game, even just going back through this week in gaming history, there's just been, it's always nice going back through the catalog, sharing those memories, and having you guys share those memories with us, because it's a community effort, it's a team effort. So again, greatly appreciate everybody that we've got here in the chat, and I always appreciate the chance to come on every week and chop it up with the headmaster, of course. Mm-hmm. And as far as the grind and doing things every day, if you want to, if you're looking to keep up with me, if you're looking to stay connected to the neighborhood, swing by Ace's Place. We're starting our streaming weeks now on Tuesdays with the Gaming Academy, and then we'll follow it up with our usual runs at Ace's Place Wednesdays and Thursdays, 5 p.m. to 8. We'll be taking Friday and Mondays off, but we'll have the Saturday sit down, noon to 5, and extra innings, 2 p.m. to 5 on Sundays. You don't want to miss it.
Yeah, and one of the best things about like our network here, like, and I kind of wish Tragic had more time to like stream, because I would watch his streams as well, is that we all kind of have different tastes in games, but we all celebrate the games that we love together, right? Like it's a weird like Fire Emblem like battle fight system. Like Ace is the sword, I'm the spear, and Tragic's the axe, and we're all gonna triangle. So that's our taste in video games. Like some of it overlaps, right? But we all kind of like have our own. So it's always beneficial to like watch Ace, watch me, whenever that shows up. So and get our takes on it.
It's a Venn diagram instead of just a solid circle.
Yeah, it's definitely a Venn diagram. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, having different tastes is a good thing, and 100%. That makes it diverse, right? And it just shows that there's just so many different types of games out there. So many options we have to choose from. But what does overlap a lot is our stories of our what is this, like our coming to age stories of these games. Like Ace's Monster Rancher stories, my funny arcade stories, his funny arcade experiences, right?
Everybody
my retail store experiences. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's yeah. I think everybody can like start a coalition on everybody that's lost to Lubu for the first time. There's gonna be so many people. Oh
my god, I can so see that.
That'd be interesting. But yeah, y'all have a good night. We'll see you next week. Check that out. I only stream today, sometimes Thursdays, but definitely Sundays for Mass Effect 2. Check that out. But I also threw the idea to chat and on my last stream, Ace, that one of these Academy sessions we should do a Let's Watch together. We've gotten so much what do you call this, like not feedback, but like so much recommendations on our Discord that like I want to be able to watch those videos with you guys and like get your guys's like kind of like live, or I guess like watch our responses to them and stuff, and have a conversation live about that. That'd be fun too. So if we need to take a break from the usual Academy, we can do a Let's Watch study session as well. So that'd be super fun down the road. Yeah. But other than that, it's 10:10 here at the Academy in the Pacific Northwest and up in Bellingham. It's getting warmer. I'm breaking a sweat here right now. Y'all have a good night, and we'll see you on interwebs. Y'all stay safe and keep on gaming. All right, have a good one. Take care.
Class dismissed.